Hello, everyone. This is Doug Davis, broker in charge at Crombie Realty, and here with another Ask Doug. And today I wanted to talk about the state of the brokerage fee as it relates to payment to agents for from the point of view of a seller. So, okay, this is how it works. When you list the property, you on the listing agreement will specify how much the listing agent will receive. So you write that down on the listing agreement, and then you have another scenario where you will list the brokerage fee amount for what happens if there's a dual agency, or your listing agent will represent a customer that's buying it. So a buyer comes to the listing agent, and they put the two of you together in a contract. And then the third scenario is what you as the seller will pay the outside broker, a broker that brings in a buyer that's successfully puts in an offer, and you accept it, counter offer, all that sort of thing. Okay, so there you go. You've set that on your listing agreement. The listing agent may not put that in the amounts in MLS. However, they can verbally tell the buyer agent how much that is offered by the seller, and um, they can put it on all advertising materials except for their MLS system. That's based on the new NAR rules that went down last year. Okay, so that's that. And then you put it on the market, and then you find a buyer through, say, an outside broker, submits an offer, and then there'll be a place on, this is at least in Hawaii, there'll be a place on the purchase agreement for how much the buyer agent would like to get paid. Okay, that might be different from what you had put on the listing agreement. So the seller has to make a decision as to what to do. If it's different, say it's higher, then you can make a decision on whether you want to pay the higher amount, or you initiate a counter offer for what you had put on the listing agreement. So in other words, you can set in stone on the listing agreement what you want to do in paying the various scenarios of a brokerage fee, but the purchase agreement comes in and you start all over. So nothing really was set in stone. So it's all negotiable all the way through to the very end. So here's the scenario though. Maybe the offer is perfect in all respects, except for it's a higher brokerage fee than what you had put on the listing agreement. So do you want to counter it? If you counter, you're rolling the dice and the buyer may go away. Um, or you counter it and maybe you're successful. Just never know. Um, it's always a good idea if it's close enough to just accept it and secure the contract. Um, so there's choices involved. You have to weigh all the scenarios there on how to respond to the counter offer. So it used to be that there were two parties to the negotiation, the buyer and seller, but now there are four parties. There's the listing agent, the buyer agent, the buyer, and the seller. And the reason the buyer's agent and seller agent are both in the negotiations now is because of the brokerage fee, the way the laws have changed, and makes them parties to the transaction because they're negotiating the brokerage fee right up until the end. Didn't do that in the past, but now we have to do that. So that just gives it in a nutshell what you have to do, what happens, what the flow of the brokerage fee can be. And hope that helps a little bit. All right, if you're enjoying these, please give me a thumbs up and perhaps subscribe to this channel. And if you have any property management needs, listing or selling needs, love to hear from you. All right, until next week. Thanks so much.